Right, let's talk about Mission, supported by Star Ghana and the European Union and others. Now, we've been in the Bungo district talking about education and health, and the commitment of the district in improving education was noted in the provision of a school building for residents of Akolyoo, one of the communities. Now, a sword was cut to have a 3-unit classroom block constructed. Let's watch what happened there.
What object can you see in the sky?
Excited, a community that was in need now has every right to sing and dance. For years, this school infrastructure was poor. For the people of Akolyoo, a farming community, education was important to them. But a poor school building deprived kids of good education. Classes were combined.
Very good. Right. I can hear you. Speak loud. Amos, do not eat in the assistant. Very good. Abigail.
KG 1 and 2 were in one classroom. The day nursery and class 1 also shared one classroom. The school had to use an office space for class 2. The worst of all was the kindergarten class. They sat under this. Many kids stayed away from school.
The teachers are supposed to be teaching the children at different times, but because we have to combine them, one has to enter and teach and the other one will also come inside. So because of that, it slows the learning.
Parents had very little reason to send their children to school. Education infrastructure in the district was poor.
During rainy season, we can't even have classes. You have to go in and combine with their seniors. That's class 3 or class 4.
Communities, including Akolyoo, had seen the poor school infrastructure and its toll on education, and had made efforts to improve school buildings.
We are challenged. The number of classes keep dwindling as compared to the increasing number of children in our schools. And even though politicians will easily like to target as schools under trees or trees under schools, what they may tell me to be, I think we have so many classes under trees and not schools under trees. Because in many of the schools, you get there and you realize that we have a 3-classroom block. But the time the 3-classroom block was provided, the school had up to primary 3. So maybe at that time, it was necessary to work to meet that demand. But that is about 3 years now. So you realize that the school will now need about 6 classrooms. So the rest of the extra 3 classrooms will be found under trees.
To support these communities, the District Assembly initiated several moves.
The crux of the matter is the general infrastructure for the schooling. It's about furniture, it's about classroom infrastructure, it's about quality of teachers, it's about teaching and learning materials, and it's about access to education. So in the broad spectrum, we are trying to see how we can address issues with regards to access, quality, and affordability.
Akolyoo was one of such communities which benefited from a 3-unit classroom block, and the residents could not hide their joy. Akolyoo is excited. The community in the Bungo district of the Upper East region has been depressed for several years. Educational infrastructure very, very poor. Their kids studied under this shed, and for years this is what they had to contend with. They have tried but could not. This meeting is expected to finalize arrangements to have a new school block constructed. excitement is on the faces of every member of this community. A new school block, a new beginning, and a new step ahead into education in the future. The community of about 750 people will, in about 4 months, see a new school building at a cost of 190,000 cedis. The community is grateful the assembly has come to its aid.
We had to make a budgetary allocation towards putting up the classroom block. So the peoples in that community used to travel about 2 to 3 kilometers to be able to access education. So if we do not go to their aid, it means that they're going to be left out. Based on that cry, I thought we should put up the facility for them. A sort has been cut to construct a 3-unit classroom block for them and possibly to drill and mechanize a borehole for the children. So that for the first time, they will have some access to education.
The facility will come with offices, a storeroom, and sanitary areas.
We are so excited for what the government is putting forward for us, because in the olden days we used not to have schools to go. But as of now, the government is putting this building for us. We are very, very happy for what he's doing for us.
The over 170 pupils of the school will very soon enjoy modern facilities.
All we need is the community support. It's a give and take affair. We've asked them to eschew laziness, petty stealing, preferring and all that other things. So if asked that they should support us as a community so that we also work in earnest. And the project will roughly, it will not take more than 4 months to complete.
The District Assembly and the Education Directorate are poised to use education to move development forward.
It's not only the classroom that is their problem. They do not also have furniture. The last time I managed to secure 25 pieces of dual desk for their community. But that is not enough. Very soon, we will be procuring furniture and will allocate a few pieces to that school. So Akolyoo peoples should be happy that this government has come to their aid.
The Assembly says many more facilities will be added to Akolyoo Basic School so that kids who complete and will move on to the next level will not have to travel to other communities to further their education. Bright Nanamfo, TV3. Right, mission there, making some waves there in the Bongo district. Star Ghana supported, being funded by the NIDA, the FID, and the European Union. The district chief executive, Peter Ayimbisa himself, is with me in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Bright.
Hope you're doing great.
Yes, I'm doing quite well.
Right. Thanks for the reception when we were in Bongo. But first, what is the commitment? We saw Akolyoo gets a school. What is the commitment of the Assembly in improving education in Bongo?
Well, first of all, let me thank you and your team for making time to visit the Bongo district. Let me also use the opportunity to greet the paramount chief of the Bongo traditional area, Namba Baba Selifu Alimyaru. In fact, I'm greeting him and the rest of the people because of the enormous support that he gives to us as an assembly and as a district. Yes, education, they say, is the bedrock of everything. Development revolves around education. So issues with regards to education must be taken seriously. And we have come into office at a time where a lot of things are not going so well for us in the Bongo district.
In terms of education? In
terms of education, because we have come in a time where there's a gap there's furniture gap, over 5,000 difference. School children have to lie on the bed, on their stomachs, to be able to take lessons. We have come at a time where classrooms are not there. We have come at a time where teaching and learning materials are not there. So the commitment of the Assembly is to ensure they will prepare and make adequate budget allocation towards improving the standards of education in the Bongo district.
So it is also...
And I'm committed, and the Assembly is committed in ensuring that we provide these facilities that are not in existence in the district so that we can improve the standards of education.
So it is not only Akolyoo that will get a school. Which other communities that perhaps these kids will struggle if the rain starts are getting school blocks?
In fact, Akolyoo's case is just one in many. Because if you had time to go around the entire district, you would see that there are many, many more schools that perhaps are sitting on the trees or are without furniture. So what we are doing is to begin from somewhere. We cannot at once provide these facilities in every community or every school. So we are starting with Akolyoo, and very soon we are moving to Ayopia, where we are going to also put up another 3-unit classroom block for the KG. You know, now kindergarten is now part of the, it's now mainstream education. So we need to start from that place. So Ayopia Primary School will also get another structure like what we are doing.
At the moment, the KG class is seated in the accommodation for teachers. So that is what you intend to change?
Yes, at the moment, you know, we have these offices that are usually attached to the schools. And because of the lack of the classroom facilities, we need to accommodate these peoples in this little space that is supposed to be staff common rooms, that's supposed to be offices. Put the children there. You know, that place, there's no enough ventilation. The space is too small. You can't even, the arrangement is not conducive for teaching and learning. So we are going to collapse these ones and put up new classrooms so they'll be able to accommodate these pupils. In fact, last week I was at Kasingo and I saw similar situation. You see, when I took over, I went to some schools, but I didn't have the opportunity to visit every school. I didn't know the insight like I know now. Now what is happening is that the situation of Akolyoo is not in isolation.
It's repeated
around
all
over the district. We have these ones. And over the years, we say we have built so many schools, we have constructed schools, we have provided furniture, we have done so many things. But if you go to the ground, the reality will prove you wrong. So we must do everything possible to ensure that we provide the classrooms for these children. Because one day, I come from a village, Bongo Swing, and our schools under trees. In 21st century, we should not allow our children who are supposed to become presidents, who are supposed to become ministers, who are supposed to become MPs and leaders like you and I, to use such facilities. I don't think it's acceptable.
In getting these budgetary constraints, and so perhaps the Assembly will need support?
Yes, we cannot do it alone. Not even central government can do it alone. We need other organizations, NGOs, and well-meaning Ghanaians to come to support us. In fact, we are making sure that we make adequate allocation for education. You know, education, health, agriculture, good governance are the things we're looking at. But a chunk of our resources goes into education. So I'm using your medium to appeal to well-meaning Ghanaians, the Minister of Education, to come to our aid quickly. Otherwise, we would fall behind. We cannot move with the Ghana want to move together. So,
in wrapping up our conversation, I mean, Mission Ghana was in your district, and of course, we'll have time to touch on health and other issues some other time when we're able to pull you from Bongo to the studio in Accra. But the support of institutions like TV3, like Star Ghana, and all of them in bringing development to your district, how would you assess it, and what are the needs, and what would you want done more?
Well, I think that Bright, Star Ghana, and TV3 should be commended for unearthing what exists that people would not have known if your network had not visited these communities. So I commend them seriously and ask for more. They should take time off and visit these villages they will unearth what you saw in Akolyoo. So I think that by and large, we are asking them to continue to do more in this direction so that they would showcase what we have, the problems that we face in our respective districts, so that people who are willing to support, people who are willing to throw their resources into education will channel such resources into these left to rot communities. And I think that you are doing so well, and we commend you and ask you to continue to do more. Maybe this is what you did in Akolyoo. Go to Kansingo, go to Awisi, go to Sikabisi, and you name them, and you will see words of it in these communities. So we commend you, sister.
Right. Your people in Bongo are watching you. Your final words to them, and then we wrap up.
Well, what I would tell the Bongo people is to be patient with this government. The leadership of Nanado is down to earth with the people. The promises we made, we are going to deliver on our promises. What we need to do is to be patient. Just wait, and by the time we finish our first year in government, the Bongo people would have seen that we love them, we care for them, we are prepared to bring every development to their doorsteps. So they should be patient with us. I must add quickly that without peace, no community will develop. The Bongo district was adjudged the most peaceful district in the region for 2017. So peace comes as a result of the maintenance, as a result of the acceptance, as a result of coexistence. And I must commend the various actors for letting us chalk this success.
I am grateful too for your time with us in the studio. Peter Yimbisa is the District Chief Executive of the Bongo District, and the mission is supported by Star Ghana and funded by Danida DFID and the European Union.